This is In the Shadows podcast. Lots of cigar talk, but if it's going on in the world, we'll be talking about that too. And by the way, the fellows don't shy away from controversial topics. Trust me. So grab that stick, kick back with your favorite drink, and let's do the thing. This is the In the Shadows podcast. Now your hosts, Tony the Soy Sauce Assassin, along with Albert, Martine, and Eric.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Shadow Smoke Legion in the Shadow Podcast. I'm your host, Tony the Soy Sauce Assassin, and today we have a full house, Albert, Eric, and Martine and Maya. Today's topic, I would like to talk about something I think every cigar smoker, especially beginners, would like to know. It is the cigar flavors. Now, there's a lot of cigar flavors out there. Everybody interpret it differently, and this is what I want to talk about, is the interpretation of it, right? And we just got to kind of go down the list. I'm pretty sure that 1 hour, we don't have enough time to go through the entire palette per se. I mean, there's a lot of people have different palettes, and I'm just randomly went to internet and grab a palette wheel, which you can pretty much find any Google. Just Google for palette wheel. You'll find the palette wheel. But just because the palette wheel tells you something, it does not mean that's what you taste, right? So let's start with the shortest one first. All right, cigar palette number one, floral palette. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of category for that. Like, when you taste something that's kind of floral, you basically just smell it, right? It's like, it's like a flower flavor, but you can't pinpoint what flower that is. Rarely do I hear cigar reviewer go, "Hey, that tastes like a rose," or like that tastes like a tulip, or something like that, right? It's always, oh, that's a floral note, because when I taste it, I also say floral notes, right? So I want to kind of go around the table and, hey, tell me what you interpret as floral note, and if that reminds you like a certain cigar that's just that and nothing else but that, and we can go with that and see if somebody can, some beginners can go, you know what, I want to go try out floral notes, and then I'm just gotta go buy that cigars and go, hey, that's what I taste. So let's start with Albert. So Albert, when you smoke a cigar, how do you describe a floral note? Like, is there a specific thing that triggers it, and it's like, hey, that's what I interpret as floral?
Man, I was afraid you were going to make me first on this because I was trying to think which cigar have I smoked that has a floral note to it. I cannot think of one for the life of me. I really cannot. I've gotten other flavors, and I'm sure we'll talk about those later. But I can't think of one. I know there's been a couple cigars you smoked, Tony, where you have mentioned the floral note on it. Mm-hmm. But I cannot think of one off the top of my head. So, but
what makes you think of floral note? Like, is there sometimes like you go, that's kind of like a floral note, but it's not? Like, what triggers it for you?
I do like the aroma. I do know that some cigars are a little more aromatic, and I don't know if I'm really thinking of it as a floral kind of a thing, but there are some that a little. It wouldn't be it would not be a harsher smell. It wouldn't be a sharper smell. It would probably be more of a, I don't know, I wouldn't even say sweeter smell. I wouldn't even say that because, and we're not talking about flavors on any of these, right? We're not talking about a flavor cigar. We're talking about,
right. These are standard cigars that has a natural flavor.
Right. So through the process of, fermenting the tobacco or, the curing process, etc. That's where it starts to pick up some of those. Also, I guess it gets it from the minerals in the earth and that kind of stuff, the type of soil that it's in. So, I would definitely probably associate it more with more of a sweeter kind of a smell, more of a softer kind of a smell. But just there's not one that really comes to mind that's going to be floral for me. So
okay. All right, Martine, what will you describe as a floral note for you?
All right, so floral notes to me, and there's one cigar that comes to mind. there's a J.C. Newman Brick House. It's the Double Connecticut. That was, I think, one of the first cigars that I actually got floral from. And it reminded me of, like, I guess the easiest way I can describe floral. Imagine walking into a Macy's and they have like tons and tons and tons of perfumes and colognes and all that. When you're walking down that main section, you have like a perfumey, floral smell. And I think with the cigar, that cigar in particular, the Double Connecticut, I don't remember what I was drinking, but I got a floral note. And to me, it was like a really light, flowery, perfumey smell. And that's the easiest way I can explain it.
And I'll have to agree with that. Like, if I was describing a floral note, usually it's a cologne or perfume smell. And if it's towards cologne, I usually describe it as cologne. But if it's towards like a more feminine perfume smell, I describe it as floral. So, and that's how I describe it. Eric, how about you?
For me, the cigar that have a lot of floralness to it is Avo, AVO. Those cigars are very, very floral. Like a lot of floral. And floral to me is, the note would be like, if you ever just go to like a flower field and like pollens and those whole flower smell, but it's like overwhelming. If you ever just take a bundle of roses and just shove it in your nose and just smell it, that's what floral is to me. And sometimes it does convert into a perfume sometime, but cologne would be a different note in my opinion. So yeah, that's where, and what cigar that you get. If you want floral note, boy, get Avo and you will know where it is.
I agree. And a lot of time the Avo cigars, not only they have floral note, the florals tend to go a little bit sweet and ends bitter.
Mm-hmm.
It goes sweet and it ends bitter.
Yeah.
But then
It ends bitter.
but it will have that floral notes if you want to try something like that. So yeah, like I said, floral is kind of like a weird one. It's more like a hint of like, I think I'm smelling flower, cologne, or perfume, but I'm not sure what flower that is. It might be a mixture.
Yeah, it's a mixture of everything.
Yeah. So the next one, let's go to another simple but hard one. Let's go to the non-flavor. Now, the non-flavor really is like, saltiness, dryness, harshness, or bitterness. Like I think that's more like it's a very easy to tell, right? When you taste a cigar, it's bitter, it's bitter. It's if it's harsh, it's harsh. Like it just really hurts your nose and stuff like that. Dry, I would describe it as like it just dries your mouth, your throat itches, tickles. That's what I would describe as dry. So
yeah, it just dry out your whole tongue. It's like your whole palate got no saliva.
Yeah, Albert, like do you like these notes for you? Are they the same as how I describe it? Just bitter, just simply bitter. Salty is just simply salty. Some people describe salty as like more flavor, but not necessarily salty. So, Albert,
I would think I would think salty would be more like a mineral kind of a flavor, but the dryness, yeah, I've seen. Well, I've not seen, but tasted cigars where, and I think it had more of a mineral. It tends to be associated more with the minerals for me. Like if it's almost a metallic. I tell you, Esteli cigars, the Lagoria Cabana Esteli, it has kind of a sharpness to it. I wouldn't say harsh because I don't think it's harsh, but it is a little bit of sharpness, a little bit of metallic tint to it, or tinge, I guess, if you want to call it that, to, when I draw on it. I like it. It's something I do like, but I've also had some others where it was very, like, for example, the Flathead 660, or, one of those Flatheads. Those have a lot of, those are very dry for me. And it's just too much. I don't know if it's if they contain more Ligero. I've heard that's cigars like that tends to be like Alec Bradley has a triple Ligero kind of cigar, and it's it just dries. It's just a very dry, very, and I'm not saying it's a bad cigar. They're not. They kind of have their place, but it just really just kind of kills the palate. And so I look for something a little more creamy, a little more, softer to try to get some flavor back out of a cigar after I've had one of those. So, and I don't smoke them very often. I do like Gregorio Cabana Esteliz though, and other cigars that are kind of the Esteliz. They tend to be, they have a tinge on it, but it's it's good. There's a little bit of dryness, a little bit of the bitterness is not bad, but I don't like it to be too overpowering.
Okay, Martin, what about you? Like, what do you think about those non-flavor sensations when you smoke a cigar?
Like one tobacco in particular comes to mind. So Nicaraguan Esteli has a bit of like a saltiness, or like almost like a, I don't know, like a general tobacco type of taste. So it's like natural, little bit of like a bitter saltiness, something like that.
Okay. I wanted to mention when it comes to salty the dryness, some people actually call dryness sweet. So it's based on the people. I feel dryness is a feeling, not necessarily a flavor. But some people describe describe dry as sweet. So I just don't know if anybody does that. But when it comes to bitter, that's one flavor or one taste that will totally ruin the cigar for me. The main reason I don't like Atabey is because of bitterness. The main reason why, if you watch the review I did on the EPC's Escapade sampler, the green cigar is super bitter. So if you want to know what bitter is, just go try that cigar. It's really bitter. Right? That cigar is really, really bitter from front to back. It's all bitter. So Eric, what about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I like the salty. I don't like the dryness when it just dry your saliva. And what's the other one? Salty
bitter.
And
Harsh.
Oh, bitterness. Okay, harsh to me. It's not smooth around the edge, right? It's not like a clean smoke. It just linger and just very earthy, gritty kind of thing. That's harsh to me, right? And the cigar that comes off the bat is Drew Estate Blackened. That thing is harsh, boy. It's not smooth whatsoever. That thing, that thing is like you need some balls to smoke. Tell the truth, because that thing is stupid. But it's enjoyable once you get used to all the harshness and stuff like that. Once you get you fucking past the halfway to second, third, or something like that, then you're like, okay, now I'm used to all the harshness. But it does have like a little bit of like dark, deep, gritty coffee to it, though.
Okay, cool. That's pretty much on the non-flavor. Now let's go to the very hard ones. Now we're talking about the very hard ones. Okay, the urban spices, right?
Oh,
and the first one is licorice. Licorice. How do you describe licorice?
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with Albert. How would you describe licorice? Because licorice really doesn't taste like licorice in the cigar.
Is it star anise?
It does, but it doesn't at the same time.
Was it like star anise? I've heard that has the same, right?
Yeah.
That I like that flavor from that. I like when a cigar produces a little bit of that. I'm trying to think of a cigar that I've had where I've gotten a pronounced note off of that. It's not every time. It's not all the time. I think it was one of the knuckle sandwiches had had that note on it. I don't know if it was the Maduro or the Habano. I can't quite remember, but it was kind of pleasant to get that. A little further on that side in the herbs and spices is cinnamon, and Gregorio Cabana has a Spanish press, and there was a couple times where I flat out got cinnamon off of it. It wasn't as like I was, just wasn't like a cinnamon roll where it's pure cinnamon kind of a thing, but it was definitely I wasn't expecting it, but I could easily put my finger on it. It was definitely cinnamon off of it. But then third of the cigar later, it went away. And then I tried another one because I wanted to go back and revisit that. Wasn't there. Kind of frustrated me because I was looking forward to that. And then I tried another one later on, and it came back. And so it was really, really kind of a cool deal. And when a cigar can do something like that, that was pretty amazing to me. I like the cinnamon. I definitely like the licorice. And to answer your question, it's more I taste licorice. I taste a bit of a licorice flavor to it. It's faint. It's not necessarily in your face kind of a thing, but it's definitely there, and I definitely enjoy that.
Have you guys ever had Jägermeister?
Jägermeister, the drink, like alcohol. Yeah.
Like Jaeger, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's what I get when I hear like star anise or licorice. It's like a Jägermeister type of liqueur.
But the thing about licorice is that it has a sweetness to it. So a lot of people describe sweetness sometimes with licorice. I personally think it's like a very deep herbal sweetness to it. And
a very different kind of sweetness. A very different kind of sweetness. It's
right.
Yeah, licorice.
It's like a deep dark sweetness.
It's herbal, but like you can't. But it's not bitter. It's just like it kind of feels sweet, but it's not actually sweet. And that's what I get from it. But like, Albert, you compare that to cinnamon. The thing about cinnamon is that when I taste cinnamon, it has that smell. It burns a little bit. It's a really slow burn, but it has the burn. Do you describe cinnamon as one of the burn that you get? Like, no. Almost like peppery?
No, not really. No, I don't get pepper off of it. I don't really necessarily think it's sweet either.
For cinnamon?
It's certainly not, but it's not peppery. No, it's not peppery.
Right,
So,
but I think the cinnamon gives you a burn, like a heated burn, but it's not a lot. It's almost like tingling, like almost like a mint kind of burn, but it's not really a burn.
Yeah,
that's what I describe as a cinnamon. So, but that now the hard one, and I think a lot of times it's in a lot of cigars, but we ignore it. Is cardamom. Yeah, cardamom. How many people actually taste cardamom? Like Eric, have you tasted a cigar with cardamom?
No, not yet. I don't think my palate have that.
Cardamom is very earthy. It's a very earthy spice.
So it's an earthy spice. I taste a lot of earth, but then for some reason I don't taste when I taste earth in a cigar. I don't taste the spice with it.
Okay, Martin, what about you? Can you pick up cardamom?
I'm trying to remember what that tastes like. Like, what are some things that
like you had to think of like a cardamom tea, or
like what would you describe?
It's earthy. It's a very earthy chai taste.
I think I would describe that more of like a ginger.
No, ginger is less earthy than that.
No.
Ginger is actually refreshing a little bit, but cardamom is earthy. It's hard to say. I mean, this is one of those things. Like Albert, can you describe one or no?
No, this first I've heard of cardamom.
Okay, so I highly recommend somebody go get a pot of cardamom, just like a small pot, and just smell it. That thing's so pungent that when you smell it, you will know it's cardamom. Like it is very earthy. I can't remember which one, but one of the Gurkhas has cardamom taste to it. Okay, so let's go to a simple ones. How about clove? I think a lot of people can get clove. Clove is one of the spice herb. So
I know what clove tastes like or it smells like. There's a guy who would smoke clove cigarettes pretty often in the smoking area, and so I would try to figure out what's that, what's he smoking. But I have not gotten it off of a cigar yet. I've not tasted clove. No.
Clove tends to be an end note for me. So whenever I smoke, if I had this clove, I get it as an end note. So it's not like on the spot when you smoke it. It's like it lingers at the end. That's a clove for me. So usually if I pick up clove, it's at the end of a puff, not in the beginning or middle of the puff.
Can you think of any cigars that have it?
I mean, sometimes.
What cigar that I smoked recently has it? I had to get back to that because I did review a few cigars recently that has it. I just can't remember which one. And I wanted to make it clear. Clove is a herb. A lot of people mistake clove with clover. They are different. They are
Yeah,
they are
totally
different. Okay, so I would highly recommend people to go to the spice section and just buy one of the cloves and smell it. It has a very distinct flavor to it. Let's go to green pepper and red pepper. Green pepper and red pepper. There are some cigar that has those, not a lot of it. And I think here's the thing: when people say red pepper, I think of it as like red bell pepper, because if it's a red chili pepper, I call it chili pepper. So I describe red pepper as like a very sweet pepper taste, almost like paprika, almost, but not necessarily like chili pepper. So Albert, do you distinguish them that way, the same way, like the red pepper? You do distinguish when you say red pepper? Do you think of red bell pepper, or do you think red chili pepper?
I've heard people talk about red pepper. I was thinking more along the lines of it being like a chili pepper, kind of a spiciness. But I will say this: I know when I cook with it, it's a very sweet pepper. To me, it's not a. I guess the red and the yellow are a little more sweet. The green pepper is going to be more of a bitterness to me, and so I don't really get a lot of when I think of pepper. I think of I probably should associate more with harshness, if you will, but you get a little spicy, tingly, on the tongue. That's what I'm getting off of pepper, so to speak. But I'm not getting more of a muted pepper taste. I'm thinking more of a white pepper, right? Just as you would kind of think in, if you were using black pepper, white pepper, that kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
More of a creamy pepper, if you will, if there could, if that's even a thing. But yeah, no, I see what you're talking about though with the red pepper. Yeah, because there is, it's a little spicy, but it's not. Doesn't have a bitterness to it, right? It's a little smoother, smoothness to it, I guess.
Yeah, I think the problem with that is, all the cigar, they based on the speed you're smoking it, it might give you a different pepper just based on the smoke speed that you're going at it.
Sure.
Because I describe red chili pepper as a spice that goes on right away. Boom, your tongue is gonna feel it right away. Very spicy. That's red chili pepper. But when I get black pepper has a smell to it. It has a specific smell. If those people that don't know how that smells like, go get some ungrounded, like those peppercorn and smell them. They have a smell. And the black pepper burns hard. Okay, the black pepper burns really hard.
Oh, it rips, boy. It rips.
It will burn
man.
your nose. That's the black pepper. White pepper, I describe it as a very slow burn. Like very little bit comes up a little bit. You can kind of smell it, the white pepper, but it's slow, it's subtle. And that's what I describe as white pepper. And I don't know if you guys describe the same thing, but that's how I separate the three. Yeah. Chili pepper burns instantly and spreads out fast. Black pepper is a very harsh burn, but has a smell to it. And the white pepper is slow, barely have any taste to it. That's what I describe as a white pepper.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's conclude that.
Yeah, Martin, you good with that? We have a different thought on it.
Yeah, I mean, there are specific cigars that I've actually smoked, and like one cigar that comes to mind with really strong red chili powder is the Punch Diablo, and it hits you in the face. It just, I don't know, it's like really strong and intense, but then if you like kind of slow down, you can get a little bit more of like a black pepper spice, and then I don't know, it just transitions from one to another, but that red chili powder is just going to hit you and you feel it all throughout your entire mouth.
I don't know, the one I feel with the most with black pepper is you really want to get rip in your nose is knuckle sandwich.
Just pick out Espinosa.
Maduro. Yeah, like knuckle sandwich, Maduro, Habano, whatever you want. That thing gonna whoop your butt.
Yeah, all the Espinosa tend to have that peppery stuff, like especially as Murcielago, they have this very distinct pepper that Espinosa tend to use in their flavor profile.
Yeah, but I like the Murcielago is not that spicy.
Oro will, the Oro will has a little bit more. Oro is more.
Actually, I think Oro's a lot lighter.
No, Oro is more smooth, but it's there. It's more. You can taste it more. You can taste it more, but it's more smooth. So
yeah, it's more smooth around the edges. Yeah.
Now the next one is cumin. I think I smoke quite a few Chinese cigars by now. Cumin's in a lot of Chinese cigars as the prime herbal taste. but it's not very strong. Cumins is almost just like you describe it as herb or spice. It's not a lot of things to describe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not a lot to it. I don't think a lot of people would describe that correct right away.
Yeah, because I didn't know what it was. I don't know what it called, and then you say it's herb. Then it's like, okay, it makes sense.
Another one is kind of confusing. I don't think it's on this wheel. Is eggnog.
Hey, I think I got one with eggnog, one cigar. I don't know what cigar it was, but yeah, it was very surprising.
Eggnog. Albert, do you pick up eggnog from the cigars?
I don't, man. I don't. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not.
That's
not
a rare
hitting my
one.
palate.
That's a rare one.
That's
Yeah.
a rare one, definitely. I only had one. I've been smoking 7, 8 years.
How about the other side of the spectrum will be nutmeg? Nutmeg.
No, that could.
There are a few cigars that
It could
has
be in
it,
a lot,
and it's like a
actually.
really weird, almost earthy spice as well. So
Yeah,
we go with that one. No,
I think that one.
it's
yeah,
one of
that
those
sounds
like
right.
few things that like some people pick up, some people don't pick it up at all. It's kind of in a different place.
Or they pick it up, then they're like, "What the hell is that?"
Right. Unless
Right.
you cook with it, you probably would not think about it. So yeah, it's one of those
Yeah.
things. And a lot of times some of those things will be just summarized as spice, right? Just like, oh, this is a spice,
Yep.
some
Yeah,
sort of
just
cooking
allspice
spice,
or something like
cooking
that,
spice or something like that. We tend to use that if we can solidly pinpoint what that is. The next one in the category will be plants, like grassy notes. So here's the thing. One of the things that we get the most is hay, right? Like hay and moss.
Hey, yeah,
Hay and moss and cedar.
Yeah.
The three, like pretty much in almost all the cigars, right? Like especially if you're smoking like the Connecticut,
the trilogy.
Yeah,
the
the
trilogy.
Connecticut's, Habanos, you gotta get those first, right? Hay,
Oh,
moss, cedar, some oak. Those are
light wood,
and those are
and
very
also,
easy to identify, right? Oak is mostly in, I think, a lot of darker cigars. You tend to get oak versus cedar, and cedars are the lighter cigars. Right?
again, oak.
So if you get the woodsy
Yep.
note, usually on the lighter cigar, I will say that's mostly the cedar smell, and it's really easy to tell. If you can't tell what cedar smells like, go to your humidor, open your humidor,
And
smell the tray.
take a whiff.
Just smell the tray. You got cedar. Moss is basically a little bit more.
Potent. It's like
It's a
potent-
green, but not really kind of taste to it.
Yeah,
I mean, Albert, how would you describe moss?
It smells kind of bitter to me. It does have like more of a bitter taste to me. Moss does. Trying to think. Yeah,
I would say that moss sometimes smells like a good smell mold.
right. Kind of a moldy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
yeah, it's kind of moldy, but it smells you really like it.
Yeah, moss is what I describe as a good smelling mold. Grass is a note that's just really weird. I taste it sometimes, not all the time. You'll get it in Candela
Not
too.
all the time.
You'll get it in Candela, the grass note.
Oh yeah, You smoke. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you smoke Candela, you should. That is grassy.
I
boy.
Go ahead, Albert.
I smoked an inch Colorado and it was either the natural or the Colorado.
Mhm.
Can't remember actually because I didn't smoke, but maybe that one cigar of each, and I got kind of a grassy flavor off of that. It's real earthy. Yeah, it wasn't an enjoyable cigar for me actually. I'm not a big fan of the grass.
Yeah, like grassy. Yeah, grass is off-putting. If you have too much grass, holy crap, man.
Now,
I
do you
can
guys
I can
describe-
def
Do you guys
I'm sorry.
describe grass as the grass that you can smell in your front yard, or the grass after you cut it?
It's after you cut it.
right?
It's
Yeah.
mostly after you cut it, or if it's dried out. I don't know, or after a rain, you get different types of grassy
Yeah.
notes.
Grass,
No,
I
after the
think
rain, you get, like-
everybody describe it as after you cut it, and like Eric said, after the rain, that grassy, that raw notes, like when your dog went out and then just roll around the grass and come back, and you didn't have the AC on, you will smell that grass. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
oh
yeah.
yeah.
That's what I describe as grass. So it really is it's after the fact grass, not that just if you plant grass and just go smell it, you're not gonna get that smell. You gotta get it after something happened to that grass, like if the grass farted or something like that. Okay. The next one that's closer to that spectrum will be tea. Now that's a hard
Hey,
one.
tea sometimes
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
it's hard to get tea because but I taste it sometimes, not all the time though. But once I do taste tea, I do enjoy it though.
Now, when you guys
I
say,
don't.
So
go ahead.
I don't drink enough. I don't drink enough tea to really probably pull that note out. Honestly.
Now, here's the difference
but
between
then
people.
it could be herbal.
Here's the difference between people. Some people describe tea as the smell of black tea. All right. So if you go get some those black tea bag that's like English black tea, some people describe their tea as that. Some people describe it as the green tea powder smell, and some people, I think this the most often is the one that describe the Earl Grey smell. Earl Grey is very earthy.
Yeah, I think.
And they describe the tea smell as that.
But there's some herbal tea that come off a cigar too, and it's enjoyable. As well.
Yeah, and here's the thing: a lot of time it's actually not the tea; it's actually the mixture of other flavor that kind of give you the hints of tea.
Yeah.
It's like that, it's like that tea tastes like those, but is it tea or that? So that's a slightly hard one. And the one that we all have to identify and should be able to not taste. The next one is tobacco.
Yeah.
Tell the truth, right? I still taste tobacco sometimes. Just like when you have like one of those just crappy cigar that just like it's literally just tobacco.
Yeah, that's the thing. I describe tobacco as a cigar that has no flavor. All you taste is certain flavor that has no flavor.
Yeah, taste. Yeah, you're like, what the fuck is that, dude?
Like Albert, how will you describe tobacco flavor?
Man, that's a good question. I'm trying to think. Man, I don't have anything for that, man. I really don't.
I describe tobacco as like it's just like no flavor. You smoke it, but you taste something, and it's not a pleasant taste. It's almost a little bit bitter, but not very bitter.
Yeah, you know what?
It's just there's no
Tobacco.
flavor to it. I describe that as tobacco because I once you smoke for a while, you tend to ignore that, right? You pay more attention to every other note but that one. And if you don't taste anything, that's all you taste is tobacco. So.
Oh my! It's just straight up like what the like that's true tobacco right there. Boy.
Like all you taste is tobacco. It's weird because like you can't even just go and pick up a tobacco leaf, smell it, and call that tobacco because all of them smell different.
It has a smell to it, like a different aroma.
So and just like for example, if you go pick up a cigarette, tobacco, it smells floral. It doesn't smell tobacco. It smells floral, right? And so, tobacco is one of those muted, weird tastes that I can only describe as muted. Like every cigar obviously have it because all tobacco. But I will tell you that if you want to know what tobacco smells like, go pick up a men's cologne and leave it that has tobacco, like for example, the one that Johnny Depp represented, and spray on something. I can't remember what's the one Johnny Depp represented, but there's only one from Dior.
It's Dior.
Yeah. So you pick that one up, you spray on somewhere, spray it onto a paper. Wait until the good smell goes away, then smell it. That's tobacco. And you can tell it's that is tobacco. You'll smell it. So for those people who don't know what tobacco smells like, try that. Go get that cologne. Don't get the very strong one. Get the cheap one, whatever. Spray on something. Wait for the good notes to go away. All you got left over is sandalwood and tobacco. And just ignore the sandalwood smell. You smell tobacco.
To me, in order to smell tobacco, it's literally when you leave the lounge, right? When you leave the cigar lounge, take off your shirt at home, go take a shower, come back down, smell your shirt. That's tobacco.
I don't know, because sometimes it smells different.
No, man. It's
That's tobacco
bro.
smoke.
Yeah,
that's not tobacco.
No, so that's another note. Smoky.
Right.
Yeah, but it's
So, right.
that's
like,
still
okay,
tobacco.
here's the thing. How will you describe a smoky flavor? Like somebody said that tastes smoky.
Campfire.
It had to be like kind of like a big.
Campfire.
Yeah,
yeah.
When I
Campfire,
think
like,
campfire,
when you're
I would say that's a
outside.
woodsy note, right? When I think of smoky,
woodsy.
it's like when you burn something, that's smoky.
But it's a burnt woodsy note.
It's a very
wood.
burnt.
It's not, yeah, that's campfire.
I would say like a barbecue, something like that.
No, but barbecue is like wood.
That's
Is wood note. I think smoky has this
that's
like it almost chokes you. Like Eric smoking 10 cigar at the same time kind of feel. Yeah,
no, that's just tobacco.
yeah, like sometimes when I smoke a cigar and it kind of chokes me a little bit or like hurts my eyes or whatever, I think that's a smoky cigar. I don't know, but that's just me. It's hard to. That's like
Really?
yeah. All right, so now we'll go on to wow, we're moving pretty fast. Now let's go to the other side of the spectrum, which is like my favorite notes. It's the savory notes, the bread, charred, caramel, espresso, coffee with milk, dark chocolate, cocoa, cream, honey, leather. So let's go with the first very easy one. I think leather is very easy to pick up. Leather is very easy to pick up.
I don't know, man. Some people can't pick up leather, bro.
I know it's sometimes hard. It took me a long time to pick up leather.
I don't know. Like leather, tell the truth, leather comes to me really quickly. But to some other people, it's pretty hard.
Now, do you guys describe leather as leather from a tan farm or leather from like your bag? When you just bought the bag with a brand new car, you smell your seat. That's leather. Which one do you guys describe that as?
I would say both. Sometimes I get both.
They're kind of different though.
Yeah, but it's still in the leather category, you know.
So when I describe leather, I describe that flavor as like, you know, usually when you smell a brand new cigar that before you smoke it or you're doing cold draw, you get leather. And that leather usually is I take it as brand new, you know, wallet or handbag that I just bought and I smell it. That's how it smells like. Not necessarily like, you know, brand new seats from a car, but like more like a wallet or something like that. That kind of smell.
Oh, I don't get leather on a cold draw.
I get leather on cold draw.
I get a lot. Cold draw, I get a lot of like barnyard.
It depends what you smoke, right? So Albert, what about you? What do you describe leather as?
Yeah, I could think of like a wallet. You buy a wallet and you kind of open it up, smell it, and it just has kind of a I mean, a lot of people I think can relate to that smell.
Yeah, it's a very pleasant smell too. It's a very pleasant smell. But it's not like, you know, I know people say I'm gonna try to taste leather and they start to go lick on a leather wallet. That's not how you get to taste.
No.
So it's not gonna. It's not gonna work.
Leather taste is
it's not
actually a
gonna-
smell. So I just want to put it out there. Leather is the smell.
Yeah,
And I'll agree that the cold draws,
I think-
cold draws is where you tend to kind of taste that. But also, I've had some cigars where that flavor just kind of kicks in with it, and
Sometimes it overtake, man. Sometimes it overtake. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, but usually
out.
if you get a cold draw that has leather, once you let it up, you'll get a really pleasant leather start. So, you know, usually that's the case. And next one's honey. I think everybody can tell honey, right? Honey is just like a really nice.
Oh, it's so
Yeah,
nice.
it's like a sweetness.
Dude, if you get like a honey and cigar, you loving that shit.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Honey, I think is very easy to pick up. It's very sweet and has that distinct smell to it. So the sweetness and the
Distinct
smell
taste.
are separate, right? So we'll taste the honey first, the sweet first, and then we'll smell it in the nose. So honey is one of those things you definitely have to retrohale to get because you need that smell to get that honey.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I get the honey on the pellet too, and it's amazing.
It's I would say it's harder, right? Because like you really need to smell the honey to tell that's honey. Because the difference between the honey and the sugar taste is really in that smell, that distinct, very
Oh yeah, but man,
nice.
if you get in, you get in a pellet, you could, you know, sometimes you just let it go to smoke, right?
Yeah.
And the aroma from your pellet just go through your nose, and then that honey come in, and it's like, oh boy.
So the next one is I'll categorize them as the same thing, but they're not, and a lot of people get this wrong. It's the difference between cocoa, milk chocolate, and dark chocolate. They are different.
Oh yeah.
They are very different. And I think majority of times, 70% of the time when somebody says chocolate, is talking about cocoa, not really chocolate, right? When they say, oh, this cigar has a nice chocolate flavor to it. When I smoke it, I smell cocoa. So if you don't know what cocoa tastes like, cocoa has the smell and the taste, but no sweetness. Cocoa has no sweetness. It just had that flavor. You can actually buy raw cocoa and try to taste it, and that really has no sweetness to it. It's almost bitter. So, Albert, do you agree with that? Like, you know, Martin, do you agree with that?
that probably explains why I don't like cocoa too much, because I've always expected it to be sugary. Like, where's the sugar in this thing, man? Right? Hot chocolate, like they call it hot chocolate, hot cocoa. I always thought it was the same, but I hear what you're saying. I guess it'd be, when I think of it, when I'm hearing you talk about this, it's probably more of a creamy chocolate is probably what I'm thinking of, or
Well, if you talk
You
about
know,
creamy chocolate, you talk about milk chocolate. Milk chocolate is creamy.
Yeah, milk chocolate.
Milk
Yeah.
chocolate, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and dark chocolate is slightly bitter. Cocoa,
Right.
you just have that
Oh, yeah.
smell and flavor, but no taste.
Right. The
So,
dark chocolate is where I tend to I pick up a lot more of dark chocolates. There's a particular Maduro that I like from Perdomo that it's very chocolatey, very very chocolate, not a dark chocolatey taste to it, and I enjoy that a lot. But there's a few others that carry that on as well. Um, but yeah, that tends to be where I'm at with the dark chocolate.
dark chocolate is definitely a lot of darker cigars, Nicaraguan cigars, even Honduras cigars. They tend to have that dark chocolate flavor. Milk chocolate, I would think, is actually a combination between cream and chocolate. So if you have a lot of cream and a lot of dark chocolate, you get the milk chocolate flavor. So it kind of balances out a little bit. And the problem is that you have to know how to taste cream, and cream is actually sweet, right? Cream is no, don't think of cream as like the creamer or like the
No.
you think of cream
No.
as like something like cream soda. If you taste cream soda, you kind of know what cream tastes like, right? So cream is one of those things. And if you have cream and a lot of dark chocolate, you actually taste milk chocolate. But cocoa
And it's amazing.
tend to follow a flavor of similar to coffee or espresso. You tend to taste cocoa with those two notes.
Yeah.
You don't taste the chocolate.
That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
The chocolate is actually it's more of its own rather than following a coffee taste, right? And then we have aside from that, you get the coffee or milk flavor, so latte flavor, and which if you get a Yield Dragon, you know what I'm talking about. The latte flavor, really, really, really good. If you don't know what latte tastes like, simply go to any shop to get 80% milk and then one espresso shot. That's what you get for latte. You get a kind of a milky coffee note to it. And then then from that spectrum, we have espresso, which is, I don't think you can mistake that. It's a very bitter coffee,
How can you,
Very
right? You know
bitter.
what I mean? Like, how can you mistake an espresso?
right? Everybody tastes espresso sometime in the darker cigars. They are very bitter. Usually they follow up with another flavor that cuts it off. So you get an espresso and then something else follows it. And they tend to think it's a different thing, but then what you're tasting is espresso. And maybe it lightens up, touching a creamy note that became like a coffee flavor, but what you're tasting is espresso and coffee, right?
Yep.
So I think that's one of the usual cases with those. But then roasted coffee is definitely not the same smell. Roasted coffee is a smell, and it actually have this charred smell to it, a caramelized smell to it.
Yeah.
So for those people who don't know when somebody say roasted coffee, they're not talking about actually drink coffee. They're talking about that smell when you're standing right next to an oven that's roasting a coffee. That coffee has this almost sharp to your nose, but smells good.
But yeah,
Roasted coffee
smell
bean.
fine.
So think of that, like when you walk into a coffee shop and then you smell the beans. That's what it's like. You go buy a bag of beans and just take a whiff at it. It's different than drinking it. It doesn't smell the same. All right. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you has already tasted variety. I'm talking about like a whole humidor full of cigar that has roasted coffee beans or espresso, and we can tell because we tend to like a lot of us tend to pair coffee or espresso with the cigars, and when you do that, it really helps you tell the difference. So if you can't tell the difference, I think what you need to do is one day pair that cigar with the coffee, the other day pair that cigar with the cup of espresso, and you'll be able to tell the difference right away.
I don't know how you don't know about like.
Well, some people never
coffee
drink
and
espresso. Some people never drink espresso.
Who?
Yeah. It's like a bitter. It's just espresso is just more of a bitter coffee.
No. It's actually
But
oily.
it's
It's actually very
because you
flavorful.
want-
It's more flavorful.
It's very nice.
I mean, I know it's oily, but it's to me it's like a bittery, stronger, like black of the black coffee.
No, because you can get a dark roast coffee. It will still not taste like espresso. Actually, quite
Yeah,
the
like you
opposite.
get dark roast coffee, it's just very, very charred
Right.
coffee.
When you
man.
get a
it's a whole
dark
different
roasted
thing.
coffee, is actually very acidic and it's very charred, burnt taste. But espresso don't have that. Espresso is actually on the opposite. It's actually creamy on its own. So yeah, like I said, try to get an espresso, smell that, and pair with the coffee. You'll actually be able to tell the difference.
Pair like 5 espresso at the same time, you can
Yeah.
tell.
So on the side of that, also we talk about char, and I think char just burnt.
Yep. Burnt.
Right? Like when you first light up your cigar,
Easy.
you get that char. But some cigar has the lingering char, right? Some cigar, I just can't. I can't think of one. But there are some that has that lingering char. I almost feel like you're always relighting your cigar kind of flavor. Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't know. Like sometimes it's nice, but sometimes it's too much with that.
Yeah. Now the next one will be caramel. I don't think anybody can mistake caramel, right? It's so sweet.
It's the sweetest
It's
thing
probably
ever.
the sweetest notes in the entire wheel. Like if you get caramel, you're lucked out. The cigar is gonna be nice.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Yep.
You can't go wrong. If you hit a note, like you get caramel, oh man, you better enjoy that damn cigar.
Right? The caramel.
It's like dessert.
I can't think of a cigar that had caramel in it. Can y'all think of one?
Really?
At the fall.
has
At the fall,
it.
have a fucking.
A lot of
yeah,
Opus
have a
X.
ton
A
of
lot
it.
of Opus X has caramel
Yeah.
notes to it. So they have
Yes.
woodsy note, and that sweetness that ends with that woodsy note is caramel.
Okay.
Yep. Dude, the at the fall is full of caramel, man. That thing drizzle.
Yeah. So I think a lot of Opus X has it. Some Davidoff has it. I'm trying to think one that's in the common price range. Which cigar that is in the common price range that has caramel?
I can't think of it. My mind is blank right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one too. I can't think of one in particular.
For a good price, even the Omoforte have it.
Amaforte. No, Amaforte is sweet wood. It's not really caramel.
Yeah.
I think you can get caramel out of that, man. I'm pretty sure.
You can get the caramel out of like Davidoff 702 and stuff. So, but then those are higher range.
Yeah, those are higher range.
Yeah, caramel are usually a stronger, more flavorful, medium range natural cigar.
Yep.
They're not. It's not really Connecticut. Connecticut is very woodsy. You don't taste that. It has to be natural, which you know in a way is Connecticut, but natural tobacco.
Even talk about natural Padrones. Padron the natural series have the
Padron is also on a higher range price too. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those higher range things. I think it has to do with the fermentation, how long you aged it, and the fermentation that get that sweetness from the caramel. So, yeah, it's a higher price range taste. And next one is bread. I just think that bread is toast. It just tastes like toast. Yeah,
It's
it's
toast. Yeah.
it's not any other bread. It's not sourdough. It's toast. And
No, sometimes there's something toasted.
Sometimes it's just sourdough.
Yeah.
but like
But
sourdough
then-
is just called sourdough, right? When somebody says bread, how I think of I can think of when I describe bread, it's just toast.
So, dude, sometimes it's just like white bread.
Right.
It's like white toast. Like I was like, what the hell is this, man? There's nothing to
And
it.
then there's just difference between the white toast that's frozen. Sometimes you smell that, and sometimes you smell the toast that has been like it's been put in the toaster. It just came out, and you smelled it. It's got a little bit burnt sweetness to it. So bread is one of those like it should have a subcategory of that, but sourdough has sourdough smell. I wouldn't put that in the same as bread, but it kind of is.
But it still could be. Like
It kind of
sourdough
is, right?
bread, though, right?
And then I guess similar to that same field, but it's not on this wheel, would be graham cracker.
Oh man.
I've gotten graham cracker from the cigar.
Yep.
Either graham cracker
Yeah, I don't know
or
which
cake
one.
crust.
Oh, I'd never get cake crust.
Well, no,
but graham
pie
cracker.
crust.
Yeah.
Pie crust, not cake crust. Pie crust.
The
Graham
pie
cracker
crust is
or pie.
the pie crust is
Pie crust. Yeah, I can see.
there's a lot of pie crusts that are made out of graham cracker, right?
Right.
Yeah,
That's
true, yeah.
But then sometimes they're slightly different. Sometimes they are the same. But then I think graham cracker tend to have more of the sweetness to it. And then when sweet is less, I'll call it pie crust. It really depends on how you interpret. They all have that little bit of buttery taste to it.
Mhm,
Yeah,
buttery
which is
taste,
another one that should have on this
No,
on this
yeah.
wheel, but it's not. Butter, buttery taste does exist. A lot of time people
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
But
a lot
butter's
of
probably
time-
gonna be more of a cream.
butter
you think
and
butter
cream.
would be
I think they're
better?
different. I think they're different.
Yeah,
And
they're
I think a
different.
lot of people will mistake the butter sometimes for popcorn. sometimes people say I
Right.
taste popcorn, but when I smoke the same cigar, I taste butter. So
It's just a buttery
Yeah.
cigar.
Tell you, I never tasted popcorn.
it has a little bit corn taste to it,
I
but it's
have.
butter. It's like butter with corn taste to it, and dry corn. Like it's like it does taste like popcorn, but like it ends with the butter note. So there is that. I don't know why that is not also not on this wheel, but we do taste butter as one of the flavors, right? Yeah, I enjoy that flavor. Sometimes you get the popcorn with salt flavor. You have a salty cigar and taste popcorn. You're like, oh yeah, ready for a movie.
Oh, no,
Right.
I just tasted salt. I tasted salt, but I never tasted popcorn. I need to put those two together then somehow, some way.
Yeah, it's one of those rare notes, and here's the thing, right? When you get those kind of cigar, you feel very happy because you just jackpot. You just picked up a really nice dessert cigar that's gonna give you the enjoyment that you like, right? Here's the question though: do you guys enjoy more of the savory flavor or more of the plant and spice flavor when it comes to cigar?
No, it's got to be the savory stuff. Savory, buttery, just makes your mouth water. That type of cigar. That's what I like.
But I like the transition. You know what I mean? When it's like a savory cigar, but sometimes it hits you with a freaking spice and everything that come with it after that. I like that. I like the transition. Sometimes it's hit you and then you go away, then go back to savoriness. Just don't go all the way. You know,
Opus.
that's all. Hey man, can stop calling my Opus out.
Opus does
bro.
a transition.
Come on.
Albert, what about you?
Okay, repeat the question again.
Like, which side of the spectrum you prefer your cigar? The savory, with all the chocolate and milk, coffee and stuff, or
Okay,
the more
yeah,
the
yeah.
plant or spice herb side of the things?
I think I like more of the savory for sure.
Mhm.
I like some of the coffee, espresso. Yeah, I like that range, the dark chocolate. I do like some of the fruitiness. I got raisin off of it was that Aventura cigar,
Right.
the gold.
But the
got
fruitiness
raisin
is
off
on the
of
other
that.
chart. We'll have to talk about that next time.
I understand,
yeah, yeah.
but I'm saying I kind of like that. I'm not really big on cedar. I mean I can smoke it. I can identify it. It's a very easy one to do, but I can handle a little bit of hay on it. But I kind of dig that. I really like the cinnamon. Ever since I've gotten a few cigars where I've tasted that, I kind of dig that. But I tend to stick more towards the more savory cigars. Now I look at the the chart and stuff. I tend to get more into that. Some earthiness to it. I can handle some earthiness of the cigar, but I don't like it overpowering for sure. I don't enjoy the dryness. I think the non-flavor dryness can fit right in with some of the mineral saltiness, that kind of stuff. Although saltiness probably wouldn't cause it to be dry, but yeah.
And I think that's why, as you smoke more cigar, like majority of the cigar smoker, we tend to lean towards a medium strength and up, and goes darker and darker as we smoke, right? Like, you start out with Connecticut, right? But then like, as you smoke, you're like, oh, I like Habano. Oh, I like Maduro. You just get darker and darker, and then you say, oh, I like the Nicaraguan cigars versus Dominican cigar, because Dominican cigar is very herbal, plants and woodsy. I really,
It's a light note.
So you start to like, the mixture, or have majority of those coffee taste from the Nicaraguan, but have the filler to be Honduras and Dominican, because now you get that transition a little bit here and there.
Right.
And I think over time, as you smoke more cigar, you're like, oh, I like that kind of combination. And I start to look for those kind of combination. Like for me, I look for Honduras tobacco as a filler because it gives me that sweet cedar notes to it all the time. So I think that's once you can pick up these notes, you start to know, okay, what I like most, and lean towards a certain shade of cigars or certain type of leaf of the cigar. So.
Yeah, but sometimes that don't work out.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that it's a guarantee, right? Just because you go to a good chef doesn't mean you gotta get good food. So, And sometimes those things don't work out, and that's why you kind of depends on
man, you're like,
it depends on the reputation and the blender, right? And obviously, when you lean towards a brand, that brand tends to give you a certain flavor that you might like. For example, like I say, Espinosa. If you buy Espinosa cigar, you're guaranteed to get a cigar that has some spice, guaranteed, right?
Oh, yeah.
And if you go towards Opus X, you're guaranteed to get some caramel and woodsy and cedar, a lot of cedar, everything but wood. That makes your wood stand up wood. That kind of cigar, right? If you go to Davidoff, you're gonna get the sweet cedar. You're gonna get the floral, right? So you kind of have an idea of what you're getting at when you get towards a certain brand.
But thank God that Davidoff don't have the Avo floralness. Holy crap.
Yeah, well,
Thank
that's
God.
what the brand tells you, right? If you want to go to Gurkha, you go to get the earthiness and the mineral. So, it depends which brand that you go.
Cardboard.
If you want Cuban us, get out of it.
That's another flavor that we had to talk about is the out of this world flavor, right? Like, crayons and cardboard. That we'll talk about that next time. But we cover half the palette this time. We cover half the wheel. So we cover the plants, the herb.
Oh, that was only half?
The plants.
That was only half.
The plants, the herb,
Holy sh-
the non-flavor, the florals, and the savory flavor, right? So next time when we record this, we do a part 2 where we had to talk about the out of this world flavor, the nuts. So almond, cashew, marzipan, peanut, walnut, all the nuts, fruitiness, and the earth and mineral. And those are the other half of the circle. So I think that should do it. We should end it right here so we don't go too much and go halfway on a certain topic. We can cover the other half of the wheel next time. And that is 1 hour for us. 1 hour.
Yep.
Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this information podcast for today. I think this will help some new listener to help identify and what we mean when we are reviewing a cigar by this flavor. Because I think a lot of people say it differently. I think we kind of put it out there how we described it when we talk about a certain flavor. Like I say, cedar, oak, smoke, tea, tobacco, pepper, the different class of pepper and different class of coffee and cream and cocoa. And I think the chocolate part is when it messes a lot of people up. Because when somebody says this cigar is super chocolatey, it tastes like that's not chocolate, right? And then it's like, yeah, that's actually chocolate, but it's just raw form of it is cocoa. So, that there is a difference to that. All right. So, and that's it for us today. We'll see you guys next week. I hope you guys come back for part 2. Bye, guys.
See you.
See ya.
You've been listening to the In the Shadows podcast. There's nothing like a fine cigar, and that's our passion. And on the show, we'll talk about everything and anything cigars. And you know what happens when you get a bunch of guys together smoking cigars. The conversations go on. And that is what this show is all about. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. Remember, everything you need is on YouTube at Soy Sauce Assassin. The live show is every Wednesday and Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And get cigar reviews. Wishing you long ashes. We'll see you next time on In the Shadows podcast.